You can hear my voice clap once? My voice clap twice. My voice clap 3 times. Focus. All eyes on me. You've already heard in the bios of 2 people, both myself and the judge, that she graduated from Fisk University as well. So, as always, I must begin with my alma mater. Fisk University was founded in 1866. What year was Fisk founded? 1866. Same level of enthusiasm. What year was Fisk founded? 1866. I told you I'd give you 100% of me if you give me 50% of you. Fisk was founded what year? 1866. There's some mouths that are not moving. I caution you not to do that. Fisk University was founded what year? 1866. It was in the immediate months following the abolition of slavery. It was in the immediate months following how to enunciate and pronunciate your words correctly. Leaders know how to enunciate and pronunciate because this country will give itself to you if you know what to say to it. Brother Anderson said that he went into a job and that he failed the test he needed 85 as opposed to 83. I remember when I showed up for my interview at Morgan Stanley. I was working for E! Entertainment and the Style Network at the time. I was the assistant to the senior vice president of E! They moved to Philadelphia. Mission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fears, our presence automatically liberates others. I don't shrink in rooms with people. I rise to the occasion. Leaders have to be with an assistant, 28th floor of the City Place building downtown at 24 years old. Here I am, out of a job, do not pass go, do not collect 200. They were slated to make sure that I had over $250,000 to $350,000 in my second year at Morgan Stanley in terms of employment. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. Nevertheless, I wanted you all to understand that when I talk about Fisk was founded in what year? 1866. It was in the immediate months following the abolition of slavery. We've heard of the Declaration of Independence. We've heard of the Constitution of the United States. We've also known one other thing. Did the abolition of slavery, the Emancipation Proclamation, did it free the slaves? No. Did it? No. Okay. It wasn't until the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States that gave us the right that we have. Now here's the question that you go to college for. College is designed to get you to think creatively and constructively about the world in which you live. The question is, why would we need a 13th and 14th Amendment to grant us rights that were already given to us by a higher power? It means that to ask somebody for those rights means that they were innately taken away. The purpose of college is to educate yourself in such a way so that you can begin to look at the laws that have been created, to distinguish between those things that you can change, those things that you cannot, and have the wisdom to know the difference between the two. You will need to exercise that same judgment, folks, with friends. Now, you all are very young, but I'd imagine all the issues that once all of us confronted at one point in time, you find yourselves confronting too. How many of you all, young folks, have friends right now that you need to get rid of? How many of you have friends? Okay. As in, you need to get rid of them tonight. Yeah. See, the point is, we all have people who we need to get out of our lives, but what's most important about what makes... I only mention Mahmoud Ahmadinejad because he is the current president of Iran. I mention him because the NAACP is in the business of training leaders. It means that what you'll do for the NAACP is not restricted to just that. It means that if you're going to serve the nation, if you're going to be educated, if you're going to be smart, if you're going to be intelligent, you're going to have to know about things going on around the world. Names of people who you one day will serve as the National Security Secretary, as the Homeland Security Director, as the person that handles deoxyribonucleic acids, understanding how nuclear physics and all the other things around the world are impacting the United States of America. This will be the job of the leaders that are being trained through the NAACP. I teach a course called Corporate Etiquette, Business Dining, and International Protocol. Now I want to take a moment and stop because this is something that I don't traditionally share. Anyone else care to comment? Yes. Because people are ignorant. What makes them ignorant? A lack of knowledge. He says a lack of knowledge. And sometimes when you try to educate people on what the appropriate thing is to do, because you've gone to college, you've gotten your degree, sometimes to the miseducated, the educated are the fools. I'll give you another quote. You know you're in love when your reality is finally better than your dream. We are living in the days where the black president, Barack Obama, is president. But let me tell you something. If we are standing in this room today, and people are still pointing in this direction, as the liar being first, it didn't say she was better. It just said that we believe that in this line, we've chosen the first person to be her. She didn't know what she was at first. But because of the legitimacy of the process, we confirmed collectively for her. Now, if I was in this line, we all know where I would be. Okay? I've heard them all. Darker than 1,000 midnights, darker than this, Gillet black. I mean, I've heard them all. I've heard the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Now, some of y'all better be careful over there. That this complexion is the epitome. It is the true reflection of that place that they speak of when they talk about the history of how we arrived here. And it's also the history that when we go through how we got here, when we learn about those people who came on those ships, and when we learn about when they got here, how they had to learn a new language, speak a new language, learn different customs, you must understand that they didn't go over to Africa and choose any old kind of people. And train them for leadership. But it was interesting that one of the things that you need to understand is that it's the resilience of what we were able to do. The preamble of the Constitution says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. While those we hold these truths did not include people challenge and charge our way through the history books. You must understand that the challenge for those freedom fighters of the future, I'm talking about you all now, the challenge for the freedom fighters of the future is to find out. We talked about Martin Luther King. We talked about Medgar Evers. We talked about people who carved and paved the way for us. The history books have already been written about them. What will the history books say about you? The NAACP does only one thing to an extent, from my vantage point. It calls you to action. It inspires you and it invokes inside of you a spirit of excellence. It is a tradition of excellence marked by the history of people who understood that dreams should not be deferred, and they dream bigger than their wildest imagination. We have the luxury of having an education. If I am bored, I know what Harriet Tubman was a slave. What else was Harriet Tubman? Yes, sir, up here. What else was she? I'm sorry?
She lost all her family members through slavery.
She what?
She lost all her
She lost all her family
family
members through slavery. Okay? That's another fact. What else? Come on, give me some more facts about Harriet. She led people to the north. She led them to the what? North. She led them to the what? North. How did she lead them? Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad. What is the Underground Railroad? Because some people may still think it's a choo-choo train. What is the Underground Railroad? It's a secret pathway. A bunch of different posts throughout different states and so forth and so on. You said secret. And now you can understand why some people couldn't go. You think Harriet took everybody with her? No. She couldn't take everybody with her. But there was something interesting about Harriet, and I want to highlight women for a moment. I want to highlight the perseverance of this woman. This woman didn't just lead people to the north. There were people who were with her that said, I can't go any further. Right? Y'all remember that? Yeah. Tell me the story. I can't believe, hold on, wait a minute. Let me pause for a moment. She served as an aide, a cook, and a general assistant during the Civil War. Mind you, I trained the general's aides now to the generals. Civil War. I trained the aides to your Joint Chiefs of Staffs in professional household management. Even then, Harriet had it in her to be able to put something in that mill to stop the general from going forward. If they were in the wrong war, you got to be careful with the positions that you have sometimes, because you're normally in a position where you can affect someone else's life in a very vulnerable way. Interesting enough, Harriet Tubman was a woman that even when someone said that they were not going to go, Harriet did what? I got to get it. She said, you going to come with me, I'm going to shoot you in your head. You think I'm playing? Yeah, sure, I know. That's what she said. The question today is, where are the Harriet Tubmans in 2010? Where are the people who are willing to put the gun of excellence to the heads of those who are not willing to reach their fullest potential and warn them that if you don't get on board, where there's room for many or more, you got to go. Those of you who are not about the causes of serving blacks or colored folks in this country, today I'm here to accept your skin. You can turn it into me. You can turn your skin into me. Because one thing I do know for certain, you will always be confronted by what the likes of what we've seen here today, until such a time as you get the education that you need in order to be able to see through all the BS, so that you can be able to navigate and negotiate yourself through the minefield of racial discrimination, inequality, and social justice in America. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it has been my pleasure to serve as your speaker today.